and everything else is going to be really hard. And we don't want that, because this should be an easy chapter for us. Okay, so we just talked about exponents. And this is not going to be that different from exponents. So I first want to do this one. And if you folded it in half, that's fine. I'm not folding mine in half because I've already wasted enough time. So we're going to fill in things. And I know you normally just call this a house. I normally say, like, we call it the square root symbol, or we call it a house, but it's actually not called a house. So today, the first thing we're going to learn is that this thing is called a radical symbol. The math word for the house is radical. So that symbol is the radical symbol. And so the entire thing is seriously called a radical. Okay, so just the black little thing is the symbol, whereas anything underneath it is going to be part of it. So it's the radical. I'm sorry. Okay, so we don't always have to do the square root of something. We can take the cube root, the fourth root, the fifth root. We can do multiple roots. It does not always have to be square root. So whatever root they're wanting you to take, they put over here in front of it. I'm going to put 3, but it can be any number, any whole number. And we actually call that part the index. So if there's anything we want to learn today, it's vocab words. Now, last week's were pretty easy. I think you already knew base and exponent. It might have been a while since you'd heard base. But these are our new ones for the week. You've got to remember radical, and you've got to remember index for sure. Okay, so some problems, for instance, don't write the index. Some problems are just like square root of 24 over here. When they don't write it, it's an understood to. So if it's just a house, like that first problem over here, it's an understood to. So if you wanted to, you could go down to the 512 and put in a 2. The 512x squared and just the 512 and the 98. You can add in 2's on all the ones that don't have anything if you want. If they don't write it, it's an understood to. So like the square root. They're saying the square root of 24. The square root of whatever. Okay, so I'm filling in things for you now. So if the index is not written, it is automatically 2. Okay, and then any number or expression can be underneath. So I'm going to put, for my example, I'm going to put 125 underneath. But it could be 125 x cubed y squared. Like, it could be something complicated. It could be something complicated. This thing, whatever's inside that box under the house, under the radical, this is called the radicand. The radicand. So whatever lives under the house or under the radical is called a radicand. So it's and then it's C-A-N-D. Radicand. Radicand. Okay. So I'm going to give you about, let's see, not with me that much longer, about 3 minutes to fill in all of the ones over here. We need to know the index and the radicand. We need to know the index and the radicand. I'm going to call out each group to share one of these. The index and the radicand. Go. The index is 4, and then what else? Okay, and then the next one, Ty, you got the Googles, and they got to go. I know. Kiana's group, next answer, please.
Index is 3, radical is 6
And then Ty's group, let's hear the next one from you, and then I'm going to let it go.
Okay, index is 6, and the radicand is 4, 4, 8,
Okay, I'm trusting you finished the rest of those. I'm trusting identifying was pretty easy for you. Yes?
You put 2 Y's.
Instead of an X. Thank you. I'm hoping that was pretty easy to you. I'm hoping that's why you're giggling, because it was easy. Okay, so we need to know, if there was anything to study tonight, you've got to know the vocab terms. Index, radical, and it sure would help to know radicand. It sure would help to know radicand. Now I want to look at your second slip. Because, it makes no sense, Ms. Compton. This does not look like anything we were doing last week. Last week, all we talked about were exponents. Why are we talking about something called a radical this week? I don't see how they're correlated. And this is going to show you how they're correlated. So what we were doing with exponents is tied directly to the radical. So if I put something here, what's that called again?
Index.
So I'm going to put an I there. And if something's raised to something, what do we call that?
Power.
Okay, but I want the other word. What's the other word?
Exponent.
Exponent. So you know I did I for index and E for exponent if someone needs to write that in. Okay, and then if we wanted to know what these words meant, because I get we got radical, but what is rational form? And all that really means is we want fractions in the exponent. It's okay to raise something to the 5/3, to the 3/4, to the 7/5. It's okay to raise something to a fraction now. In fact, the E goes in the numerator. And the I goes in the denominator. So I have a little room down at the bottom. For instance, if I had cube root of x raised to the 7th, and I rewrote that from radical to rational form, it would be x to the 7th over 3. Now, I really like this because, for instance, you want me to zoom in because you can't see things. I know. Our first problem we had worked today, I said cube root of 125, and you looked at me like I was crazy. 125 would be raised to what exponent right now? It's understood to be a 1. So if I rewrote that from radical to rational, it would be 125. And then tell me it like a fraction, Josh. To the 1/3. Okay, so you're going to say, Miss Compton, I don't understand why you think this is better. But I swear it is because, you got the handy dandy thing I wanted. Because it is so much easier. So if you want to do, everyone got that? I can go to the calculator now. Okay, if I'm going to do cube root of 125, I have a problem. I have to press that funny button. I have to press 3, and then second funny button, and then 125. That's a whole lot of stuff going on. I have to remember to press the index number, which was 3, then press the funny button, and then press what was the radicand. It's so much easier instead to do 125 raised to the, and just make sure you put your exponent in parentheses if it's a fraction. So 1/3. 125 raised to the 1/3 No one can mess up typing that in. That's so much easier to type in. So I love rewriting from radical to rational form, because then it's exponents, and I like exponents. I can do exponents even if they're fractions. I have my calculator. Are there any questions about what we talked about today? I feel like you have plenty to do. I'm not even going to be mad. If you want to come get your minion to color, come see me. If there's something else you're supposed to be working on, work on it. I'm not giving you anything else to do today. I'm working on it, dear.